I wanted to say that I really thought that all three women were so strong. There's a lot of attention on Charlize, obviously, but tell us how you approached this script, and even Kate McKinnon's character. How did you approach so many leading kind of women and strong women in this script?
Well, the key, I think, was to start with the issue, the sexual harassment issue, and build characters out of that. So for Jess's character, Margot Robbie's character, I needed someone who, I could portray without worrying about damaging a real life, and so that was some of the choices behind her. And then with Gretchen and Megyn, it's about finding great internal conflicts that can be true to the situation, but that are not greatly exaggerated in any way, but do render it in as three-dimensional form as possible.
Did you have access to them in real life, or just the knowledge of their stories in the press?
Well, we talked about 20 people. I don't really want to talk about exactly who we talked to, but certainly both of those women were great about and brave about telling their story in the press. So there was plenty of information out there, both in terms of their own books and their own reporting, as well as reporting about them, to build characters out of. Yeah, and I think we got there. Megyn was not 100% happy, I think, with her portrayal, but in the end, I think she said, I think the film is a force for good, and that the emotional conflict that my character was given was important and something that really resonated with me, and that's a huge compliment. I'll take it.
How about writing even, like the John Lithgow character, who is sort of he's the bad guy in this character, but you even have some moments of sympathy. Tell us about writing a complex character like that, like the villain, but he's a real person.
You got to humanize everybody, and if you don't humanize everyone, they're not going to be very interesting. With Roger's character, it was really a matter of giving him a little bit more dialogue that sort of appealed across our society. I mean, real Roger's dialogue was pretty, didactic and right-wing. So to give him a little bit more nuance to some of his ideas. But part of that is just John Lithgow. John brings such humanity to everything, and he's such a warm human being that contrast really made him very powerful. So a lot of it's just who John is, yeah, and what John brought to it.
I think it made you kind of understand maybe why some women maybe would have trusted him earlier on, and then come to see him for who he really is.
Absolutely. The guy twirling his mustache, in the dark room, is not the guy whose harassment is utterly devastating. It's the guy who you view as a real mentor or a real friend who turns on you. And that's the story we wanted to tell, how these people had very real relationships with him. Even after some of the harassment, they had built those relationships. And so it made all of this stuff as complex as it is in real life.
Obviously, the Weinstein trial is going on, and it's very complex. You see the layers of people who were the victims but still had complex relationships.
Absolutely. There'll be situations where someone will have an incident and then go to see him yet again. And I think for a lot of people, they're like, well, what? Why? But that's fails to appreciate how utterly complicated these situations can be for people, and particularly when you're afraid of what someone can do to your career and your income.